All right, welcome back to the channel, guys. This is gonna be a super sick video because we got ourselves a hold of a brand new Proto Nissan Z.
Bitch, I'ma stand out on my own, do my dance until my pole, lean twice on my own, sit the potion, I got me froze, 2 bitches on my phone, yeah, they won't leave me alone. Say the pics on your phone, asking when you be on. Cake talk, baby, I'm the GOAT, don't you say so. Keep your face up, slurping on that dick like a demo. I'm like a dark Cupid, shoot you in your arm, make you fall alone. Zenny's used to kill me slow, now it's you, the stupid hoe. Why do I get these?
So this is my first time driving it. I've driven a Supra, the newer Supra, the A90, and man, this car is something serious, man. First impressions, it's like super torquey, like out of the box. This one's completely stock, nothing done to it, and it is insanely torquey. Just the drive feel of it too, like just from the inside, like it drives like a better Nissan 350Z. It has the same interior, the same trunk, but it drives that little bit better. Like you can kind of feel, it feels like a driver's car almost, like kind of like how the S2000 did when it first came out. It's just very, I mean, it takes corners well. It's super nice. It's super fast. This car is sporting the VR30 with better turbos, basically a sister car to the Q50. Just better, smaller, faster, and it's a 6-speed manual, which is super nice. The cluster is super nice. It's very upgraded. You have all your tax, your digital stuff on the dash. You got an oil engine temp, a water temp, a boost gauge, and then you have another boost gauge, and you have a turbo speed gauge, which is not obviously any of the Z's because all of them are naturally aspirated. And then your voltmeter. It's got the same type of waterfall design as the 370Z does. Like I said, it's a very comparable car. Even the gear shifter is just like super clean. It's smooth, it's nice. We've been driving around in sport mode, which is super fun. We were lucky to get a hold of this car because our friend Jonathan, he imports cars here in South Carolina. He was lucky enough to get a hold of one, and at the prototype one at that, which is super cool. This car, it has, if you look in the dash it has like a new revamped type of dash. It's got a full enhanced view where it shows the road you're on with the car. You got your RPMs on the left, your miles per hour on the right. And it also has a super nice digital touchscreen display on the front, like a big LCD screen. Everything works nice on it. It's very fluid. I know some of the newer cars that have these LCD dashes, they're not very fluid when they change. The interior of this car is very nice. Yellow stitching everywhere. The seats are bolstered, which is nice. The Z's have a bolstered seat, but it's not exactly the same feel as this. Like I feel like when I'm in this car, I'm locked in and I'm ready to just take off. All right, so we're gonna do a third gear, 30-mile-an-hour pull and see how this power band kind of feels. All right, so just right there, I went from 30 to 75 like that. I mean, this thing is nice. So even just cruising around the street, taking like little turns in town and stuff like that, this car feels like it doesn't have like it doesn't lose power in the power bands. Like every single gear has a very, at least to me, a very equal power band. So, you know, in some cars, when you'll get into it and you'll kind of lose power towards the end of your band, like this thing actually like holds its power throughout, and it's got very good suspension on it. I believe this has like the upgraded Nissan suspension on it, and oh god, railroad tracks. It's got upgraded Nissan suspension on it, and it goes. As I mentioned before, I've driven a new A90 Supra before. Comparing these two cars, I feel like the A90 has the slightest bit more torque in the low end, but I feel like overall this car drives a little bit better. All right, so we just got done driving the car. As you guys saw, that was super fun. I had an awesome time driving this thing. It rips, it's fast, it's super fun. So this is the Proto Z. This is not the regular Sport or the other one. This is the Proto Z. So there was only 100 or 240 of these made. But to have this thing here is crazy. And the difference between this one and that one is this one is Izakuchi yellow, and in Japanese, that means thunder, fun fact. But this car, it's a very rare yellow. It has the matching Akabona brakes, super standard on some of the higher tier Zs. 19-inch rays that are bronze, super cool from the factory. Inside the car, we have yellow stitch bolstered seats, super comfortable like we talked about earlier, very hugging. It almost feels like you're driving like a Porsche because they're all two-seaters, you know, so you're really bundled up in there. All right, so under the hood, we have the coveted VR30 that comes out of the Q50, Q60 platform. Very, very nice. It's almost like it's packed in there though. There's not a lot of room because it's the same motor that's in a big size sedan, now packed into it's a much smaller version. So there's not a lot of room to work on this thing, but it makes up for the fact of how it drives. A couple things that I noticed about this car that I'm not a super big fan of. A, being that the top is black. I love the fact that the top is black. The problem is there's this trim piece right here that kind of goes all the way down back to the hatch. That's silver. I don't really know why they did that. It would have looked much better black, especially since the whole top is black. But you know, they probably thought that would look good. I guess it matches the emblem maybe. I don't know. The other thing that I thought was kind of weird is this back part of the hatch that comes down from being black. There's a hard break here. Not the fact that it switches colors, but more so the fact that it's not seamless. There's basically a hard tape line that goes all the way across the back. I personally think it would have been much better if they had just base-based cleared, and then it would have been smooth. But hey, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know. So the back of this car is modeled after the 300ZX. As you can see, we actually have one here, so you can see the difference between that one over there and this one. Very similar. This is obviously a more updated version, but this looks really, really good because this Z basically took a bunch of the different ones and kind of put them together and made like a baby. But this baby is a monster. The front of the car is also a Datsun. Some of the 260, 280, 240, whatever. It's kind of a mix of all of those integrated. A lot of people don't like this front bumper. It doesn't have any side markers. It's kind of very squared off, very big. I personally like it now that I've seen it in person. A lot of people in the pictures and stuff like that say that these cars don't photograph well, they don't video well. But in person, the front of this car is very aggressive looking. You can see the body lines and maybe just this color compared to the other ones. But I like this a lot. I think it's very sporty looking. It's kind of new edge. Looks really good. So just by looking at it, I've also noticed a lot of similarities to the 370Z. If you look at the door cars are pretty much identical. These have a little bit better stitching, a nice, almost like an Alcantara type feel to the doors, so it gives it that newer, I guess, sporty look. The trunk, though, is indistinguishable from a 370Z. I mean, we work on 370Zs a lot here, and this is identical to 370Z, even down to the crossbar in the back and how it looks. It's completely and utterly the same. The inside feels the same up above you. It's just very much upgraded as far as just like electronics and stuff like that. And I will tell you the one thing that I hated the most, that I'm sure you guys are probably looking forward to, the key. The key is the exact same as every 350 or every 370 Nissan Maxima, Nissan Altima, all the new Nissans all has the same key. You would think that they'd change the key, even on the GTR, it's basically the same key, it just says GTR on top. So I was hoping for a better key, but you know, it is what it is. This little part you might not see on a lot of them, but he was actually able to get the, I think it's $500 extra option, the illuminated door sills. That's not going to come on these Proto Zs unless you ask for it. It's definitely an upgraded option, but it looks cool. It gives you that nice extra feel to the car. So if you decide to order one and you would like to get the illuminated door sills, this is what they look like. They look pretty cool. So for all you guys out there that are ready to modify these cars, the nice thing about this is it still has the same easy to take off door handles as well as a 370 and 350 chassis. Two 10mm bolts right here, an inside clip, pop it out, whole door handle comes out. So that's good to know for all you wrap shops out there that are wondering how this was going to be to take apart. It's pretty much the exact same thing. If you're good enough, you might even be able to do it without taking it off the car.
After hearing Ryan's first impressions on the new Z, I wanted to give a little feedback from my end from it. With me having a Q50 and also having a VR30 and then seeing this car with the VR30 and a 6-speed manual, it is night and day. It is absolutely amazing how well this car handles, how well turbos spool up, and how well this car is responsive on full power band. It is absolutely amazing. The one thing I like the most about it versus mine, the engine bay just looks a lot more cleaner. It's still kind of stuffed together. That is one thing I don't like, where it's just super crowded and collective in the engine bay. But other than that, this is a very sound car. I've never seen a car that has turbo speed as a gauge, and the entire instrumental cluster is full, changeable to however you like to have your driving experience. But there's multiple different gauges for everything on this car, which is very good. It's very user-friendly from the factory. As far as the body goes, I really like how it looks. In my opinion, body lines could be a little more harsher to like really bring the overall look of the car out. But with it being on factory raised, right from the dealership, everything's super nice. It's got the nice two-tone to it. I'm sure Ryan covered how the two-tone kind of has a harsh line in it, but that's just like little stuff that can matter to everyone else a lot more. But this car is very nice. It is basically a 370Z with a VR30 platform, or drivetrain, sorry. Other than that, I really like how this car is, and maybe one day I might pick one up myself.
What's going on, y'all? This is Chris from Self-Made Auto Sport, based out of Greenville, South Carolina. Today we knocked out a 400Z 2023 thanks to the alley hoop from Carolina Stance. Thank you. My Instagram is Self-Made Auto Sport. My other Instagram is P the Detailer. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Google. We have multiple 5 stars on Google. We specialize in ceramic coating, paint correction, interior detail, engine bay, and a lot more services. If you are interested in any of my services, feel free to hit me up on any of them platforms. We come to you, or you come to our shop. We care about quality, we care about satisfaction, and we care about delightful customers.
So thanks to Chris, he came out here and knocked this car out. It's going to auction tomorrow, so we're gonna drop it off to the guy now, so he can go get it ready. But that pretty much ends the car review. We wanted to do this because we're super lucky to get a chance to be able to have this car for the day, drive it around, test drive it. So thank you, Jonathan, for that, for letting us borrow it. But yeah, we will definitely see you guys in the next video. Like I said, we've been cranking out like really good content lately. The next video is probably gonna be the Gap video from this past weekend. So look forward to that, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
I get these bitches that don't like me. I do.